Folks, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host. I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best recent cutting edge science brain body tools so you could feel, look, and do your absolute best by making better decisions, by learning how to push your own buttons so you take the right action that lead to the kind of outcomes that you enjoy now and in the future. Today, folks, as you guessed it from our podcast name, is one of my favorite topics ever. I spent like a decade of my life working in basically body composition optimization. And yes, we'll also work on health and on fitness, on a lot of other things. But for quite a while, I've worked in this body composition adjustment with athletes, physique athletes, but also with just entrepreneurs or business owners who were not athletes, but wanted to look amazing and like super fit, like superheroes or close to that, right? Or just feeling great in their body. I also worked with people in their 50s and 60s who just wanted to look better and feel. What's more important for them actually was feel much better in their body. So I worked in weight loss for, again, quite a while, and as geeky as I am, I would always go like beyond and dig into science, not just read some, popular books around weight loss based on somebody else's scientific research. But I actually, besides going through my nutrition and health and fitness certifications, I would actually dig deeper into all the research that was available on weight loss and learn like, okay, why certain things work certain way, right? Why do we develop cravings? And in my life also, I developed certain patterns, like emotional eating patterns, that didn't allow me to just get into my ideal weight and health state and just stay there. I would be myself on that yo-yo and roller coaster diet and lifestyle, and specifically around, again, certain cravings that I've developed for sweet stuff and coping with my emotional issues in my life. But anyhow, that's, just to give you a little bit of a background. And then I started learning and reading more of neuroscience. And when a book comes out on weight loss, I first and foremost want to see, do they talk about how it affects our nervous system, right? Because ultimately, folks, what you want to understand from this podcast and take away, if you make your brain happy, there is much bigger chance for you to get into your ideal body weight, into your ideal body composition, and into your better habits than if you were to make your brain miserable. And you don't really know how you make your brain miserable, but you see those patterns that you do, those behaviors that you do, like, for example, eating a lot of sweets when you don't really want to eat a lot of sweets. And you know that pattern doesn't actually work for your goals, but you keep getting back to this pattern. And that shows you that your brain is not happy with something. Your brain is always trying to help you, folks. And so when it does something that you don't like, it's because your brain uses this as a coping mechanism to address a deeper, more important issue. And until you figure out that issue and figure out a better way to cope with this issue, making your brain happy, you're not going to get rid of this pattern. You cannot just tell your brain, don't do this, because your brain it doesn't listen to your thoughts. It listens to your needs and your survival, not just needs, but your brain is there to take care of your survival, to make sure that you don't run out of energy, that you manage your life, your stressors, your, inside environment, well. So again, you don't die and you survive. And what you want to understand first and foremost, like this thought that when you make your brain happy, and you do that by making sure that you take care of your essential life essential needs. When you do that, your brain will start sabotaging your weight loss and your health efforts, because that's what your brain does the best. It makes sure that you survive and cope with every single problem and issue in life effectively before it, can turn into something like life-threatening. So back to our weight loss, and now let's get into practice. Practice of making your brain happy, and by doing so, having much easier time sticking with your better eating habits, fitness habits, lifestyle habits, right? That's why I called it brain happy weight loss or happy brain weight loss, because it's all about meeting your needs and by doing so, making your brain happy. And then the brain is happily going along with your weight loss plans. So concept number one, or rule number one, you gotta focus on adding in the right stuff, not on removing the wrong stuff. And that goes back to the idea that your brain craves or wants the wrong stuff because you don't get the right stuff. And so your brain does whatever it knows best, like coping with the issue the fastest, most available way possible. Very often going for sugar in fat because it's a very reliable way to pick up on calories. And when your brain is in a state of deficiencies of stress, your brain saves energy, and our human energy saving mechanism is gaining weight or putting on more fat to give ourselves that fuel buffer. And also sometimes, that temperature buffer to cope with any stress. Now, of course, at a certain point, it becomes also a life-threatening issue. But at this point, your brain already hasn't been working right for a while and not able to make decisions. That's how, sometimes people ask me, well, getting obese isn't in the best body's interest. You're right. But at that point, the brain is already not working right. And a lot of signaling, like certain hormones, satiety hormones or hunger hormones or your, energy, like regulating or metabolism regulating hormones, like your thyroid hormone, they are already not working right. And that's why you get into a situation that is even worse. But back to the practice. So first you focus on getting the good stuff in, because that's how you make your brain work better and you turn off the survival mode. So first, a simple way to focus on adding stuff without the complexity. You focus on two things only, folks. And that is based on all the literature, not just my analysis. It's analysis done by the best people in the industry, people who work with Olympic athletes. I haven't worked with Olympic athletes yet, but I do listen to the people who get to work with those people. And that's, these two things, that's where you want to focus on, whether you're an Olympic athlete or you're a regular person. This works for elite kind of performers and for regular folks like us. So first two things you want to focus on: eating two things, folks, that comprise of a lot of things, but that's the next point. Two things: 800 grams of fruit and vegetable, fresh, not like canned or syruped on, or I don't know, in some other processed form. Like ideally, not in powder form, also in fresh or cooked form. You get your fresh fruit, you get your vegetables, 800 grams of that. Eat that a day. Now, people then ask me, so can I just eat, bananas? Well, if you decide to eat 800 grams of bananas every single day, that also can work. But what's going to work for you here is your brain starts to get tired of eating the same thing, and so you eventually venture out into different fruit and vegetables. Of course, you want to focus, on variety. Of course, you want to eat a lot of vegetables there. And I would prefer you to eat green and colorful vegetables there, because they are the richest in vitamins and minerals and lower in calories that help you with your weight maintenance. But if you're starting out, just focus on the number 800 fruit and vegetables, fresh or cooked. But, not in a powder form, not in the form of some bars or shakes, not in their original form. The second aspect, what you want to eat every single day, is eat a sufficient amount of protein. And by that, we mean 1 gram per kilogram of body weight in pounds, or closer to 2 grams when you measure your body weight in kilograms. That's the amount of protein you get from protein-rich foods like animal foods, fish and chicken and meat and wild game and eggs and Greek yogurt. And can you get that from things like beans, etc.? Yes, but you got to be really careful about measuring that, because 1 cup of cooked lentils, for example, the richest bean in protein, it's 18 grams, 18 grams of protein. So you imagine to get, for example, 150 grams, like a lot of guys need at least, you will need to eat quite a lot of lentils, right? If you can do that, well, knock yourself out, eat your protein that way. But also remember that protein in lentils isn't the same quality as protein in animal-based food. And with eating that much lentil, you will also get a lot more calories that might not be that weight loss friendly. So when it comes to animal protein, especially lean, lower on fat protein, that's where you get the most protein, the best kind of protein with the least amount of calories, right? So with those 800 grams of fruit and vegetables, you get your fiber, you get your vitamins and minerals, quite a lot of that, especially if you focus again on color and on vegetables. And I also recommend you to focus on vegetables because they are also lower in calories, especially non-starchy variety. And starchy vegetables are things like potatoes and cooked carrots or cooked squashes, those things that, you can make a mashed potato from it. I don't know, maybe you could make mashed potato from broccoli too, but by starchy vegetables, the ones that usually have more calories in vegetable kingdom, we mean things like they're more like, substantial, like potato-like stuff. That is all starchy vegetables. So 800 grams of fruit and vegetables, eat a sufficient amount of protein. So those are first 2 things you gotta really dial in. And then after that, there are 5 things and 1 bonus that you want to start working on to turn off all of the cravings and develop the best eating habits in the easiest possible way, making your brain your collaborator, meaning it stops fighting you and it starts working for your plans, for your agenda. So what are those things? Number 1, get your sleep in. Folks, getting a regular sleep, getting 7 to 9 hours, that's what's recommended, hours of sleep every single night on the same schedule, and regularity of that sleep schedule is very important, folks, especially for your cravings, especially for things like your dopamine and serotonin amount in the brain that are affected by your sleep timing, not just quantity. So first, get your sleep. They did this research, really good research. They took groups of volunteers. They kind of randomized the kind of people they would get. And then there was, the group that was going through the experiment, and then the control, and then they switched them. And so what they learned is that sleep-deprived people, and by that we mean people who slept 6 hours or less, the next day consistently ate 300 to 500 calories more from not the best quality of foods, from highly processed foods. So they would then give people the access to different kinds of foods, and people who didn't sleep enough would eat a lot and also not the best kinds of foods. And that's kind of what happens. I can attest, and most of my clients can attest, when they don't sleep well the next day, you really should watch out for your cravings, because you're going to be hungrier and hungrier, not for the right stuff. And it would feel all right. You're like, well, I'm just hungry. Well, that's because of sleep, not because you need more calories in your system. But that's what I mean by not fighting your biology, not fighting your brain. When you sleep deprive yourself, all your healthy eating efforts, your brain will fight that. But that's because your brain did not get what it needs to thrive. That is sleep. So number 1, sleep. That's what you want to take care of. That will make all the eating and healthy lifestyle habits and efforts so much easier. And it also regulates your hormonal system, that also either helps you to lose more weight or prevents you from losing that much weight with all the effort. But instead your brain starts resisting that weight loss and instead wanting to pick up some pounds. So sleep is number one. Then we get timing. And by timing, I mean eating on a appropriate for a human being schedule, that is during the day, during light time. When you wake up, don't eat right away. It is recommended to wait because there is your cortisol pause. Your body is just waking up and certain things are just not optimal. Now, probably if you eat right away, there is not good enough research for me to say that it's for sure going to affect your weight loss. But based on my personal experience and the experience of people who I learned from online, all kinds of different experts and athletes and just influencers who have a lot of experience in the field. People who tend to maintain ideal weight, they don't eat right away. They do eat a little bit later, like an hour, a couple of hours later after they wake up. And for sure, not the sugary processed stuff. But, that is something you're going to work out throughout your health and weight loss journey. But so eating on time, it has different components. First, you want to eat during the day, not during the night. And then second, when you wake up, delay a little bit that breakfast time. And also what is even more important for quality of sleep and for your weight loss and for your metabolic health, what is more important, 2-3 hours before bed, do not eat. Just stop eating before bed, 2-3 hours before bed. That has to do with blood sugar regulation. That has to do with your body temperature regulation. That has to change in a certain way and has to be maintained in a certain way during your sleep. So a lot of factors. Just don't eat 2-3 hours before bed. A lot of my clients do tell me that after they started this regime of not eating close to their bedtime, their sleep improved a lot. Like they just don't wake up during the night and their sleep is much better and they wake up feeling much more fresh. And what it also does, because you have that great quality of sleep, it helps you to maintain healthier eating habits the next day. Whenever your sleep improves, all of your healthy eating, healthy lifestyle habits do improve because your brain starts working better. So timing, the last component of timing is having whatever amount of meals you decide to have. Let's say 3 meals a day for most people, that will, fit in nicely their lifestyle and that will work for you. So 3 meals a day and on the same timing. The same timing is important because then things like your satiety, your hunger hormones, your digestion, your metabolism around meal times, your blood sugar regulation, all of these things will improve. And it will, again, make it much easier. You will make it much easier for yourself, for your brain to maintain your healthier eating habits, especially during weight loss stage. You might be a little bit hungrier or a lot hungrier sometimes, depending on the strategy that you use. Hopefully you use the right one and it doesn't make you all that hungry, because hunger, you cannot resist it for a long time. But eating on the same schedule that regularity will help you to also will help your brain to control those hunger urges. There will be less of them, and they're going to be more timed. Like at certain times you will feel hungry, but then the rest of the time you will not be that hungry. And again, your blood sugar regulation, your digestion, all of those things will also improve, and that will also help you with your weight loss. And just again, when you have 2-3 meals a day, maybe 4 meals a day, and you don't snack anywhere in between, it is so much easier to maintain your caloric regime. Because if you just eat anytime, anywhere, you don't have specific meal times, you have a much bigger probability to overconsume calories, because the more times you eat, the more chances for you there to overeat. It is easier to not eat at all than to eat and stop eating at a certain point. For most people, and research confirms that is easier. So folks, have you, let's say, 3 meals a day and no snacking outside, no calories, I would say, outside, not just something you snack on or chew on, but also things like, drinking your calories. So drinking calories should go out of your meal plan first. The next one that I consider super important, that will prevent a lot of cravings and that will make you feel a lot better, a lot more energetic, and a lot less hungry, and just a lot, better and less miserable while losing weight, because weight loss can be quite challenging and your mood might be affected. Now, for that to have the opportunity to happen less and for your brain to be happier, eat the essential nutrients, get a consultation with a nutritionist. Make sure that you eat your iron, your calcium, your omega-3 fatty acids that, by the way, have the hunger canceling effect, but also help to regulate the, for example, fluidity of cellular membrane, and that helps with all the metabolic processes, and that helps with weight loss, that helps to improve metabolism, making it more flexible, making it more adjustable, and that is needed when you lose weight. Eat your essential nutrients, like again, omega-3s, fatty acids, for example, that for the purpose of weight loss and to reduce caloric intake, I usually recommend people to supplement with. So those help your metabolism work better, and they do, like, your brain is searching for those nutrients before it switches off your hunger. So understand that the brain needs a lot of nutrients, like 30 plus essential nutrients, and we're still discovering new ones. And until the brain finds them, you're going to be hungrier and your brain will be searching. It's not just about, calories. It's also about essential nutrients. Now, when you when you organize your meal plan, when you organize your meals in a way, when you design your meals in a way that you consume a lot of essential nutrients, vitamins and minerals, omega-3s and protein and fiber, your brain will be a lot less hungrier and searching for all these nutrients, because you're going to be getting all of them. And the poorer in nutrients your meal plan, especially with less calories coming in, the less essential nutrients, less vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, essential fatty acids, the less of those your meal plan has, the hungrier you're gonna feel. And again, you can resist hunger, especially a strong one, only to a certain degree, and then you're just gonna give in and probably overdo it, and that's where you get your weight loss yo-yo, losing it, gaining it, losing it, gaining it. Don't fight your biology, at least not that much. Weight loss is already a fight, but don't make it any worse by following some stupid nutrient deficient diet, some, carrot diet or something like that, or, eliminating a whole food group, and I'm just gonna eat meat. Well, for a lot of you, this will not work. This will backfire big time, especially if you're the a beginner on these kinds of regimes. And to that eating essential nutrients point, and we talked about eating your 800 grams of fruit and vegetables. That's where it comes in. We talked about eating your protein, enough of it, right? We talked about essential fatty acids that come from fatty fish. A supplement can work. We talked about that, but I also want to emphasize that for the period of weight loss, you probably, especially at that time, I usually recommend taking a multivitamin to anyone, because in research it has been shown to improve cognitive capacities and memory and a lot of other things, even for older adults. But back to our conversation here. Supplement, take your multivitamin, take your omega-3 fatty acids, take your magnesium that is important for energy creation and protein formation in the body. Basically, in every single reaction that happens in your body, magnesium is important. And when you calorie restrict, you restrict the amount of food you eat, you're definitely not getting enough. And that's where your cravings, your hunger can really ramp up if you don't supplement, right? So eat your essential nutrients, but then also supplement, especially for the weight loss phase. Two last points about weight loss. And this is more about how to approach your eating and your lifestyle. And not a lot of people pay attention to those, even though in research that consistently have been shown to affect your satiety, your hunger levels, and different metabolic processes. How exactly, to which extent, that has not been researched all that well, because the studies are not that easy to design, and for those specific varieties that I'm going to tell you about right now. But just understand that these things will affect your weight loss through your hunger and other processes happening in your brain and in your hormonal system. So number one, chew your food, eat whole foods. Some people don't understand still that chewing is a process of digestion. Chewing starts release of certain digestive enzymes. Certain foods start to be digested in your mouth. Your brain gets satiety signal from your chewing, how much you chew, how you chew, the rate of the food disappearing into your digestive tract, all of that. We still don't understand exactly all of the processes, but it is known and it is certain that your satiety levels, your hunger, your digestion, your metabolism are affected by the way how you eat your foods and in which form. So did you know, for example, that if your food melts in your mouth, there is very little satiety triggered by that compared to if you chew that food. Like if you eat an orange or drink orange juice, the effect you're going to get in your system, even if you were to equal them for calories and all the other nutrients, the effect is going to be completely different on your metabolism and on your hunger levels. When you eat an orange, you actually will feel more satiated compared to if you just smoothie it or drink it. Right? So understand that. And that's what I also teach my clients. Every time we work on weight loss, I'm like, chew your food, freaking chew it, get carrots, get a lot of chewing. That's why I always tell people, get baby carrots, low in calories. They are non-starchy when they're raw. You're going to be chewing a lot, and you're going to be also getting a lot of nutrients and fiber, and they're quite actually delicious. So whenever hunger strikes, eat some protein, some lean protein, and chew your carrots, folks. That will help you with weight loss tremendously. You don't even know how until you start using this trick. So find something to chew and make sure that most of your food you need to chew. And it's not just for your jaw muscles. It actually, again, triggers certain satiety, certain hunger signals, or satiety specifically in your brain. It signals your digestive tract how to approach this food that you chew. So chew your food, eat whole foods. And smoothie and eating, bananas, not the same thing. The less you smoothie, juice, powder stuff, the more satiety you're going to feel. And more satiety means less hunger. And less hunger means it is easier for you to stick with your caloric deficit. So chew your food and add additional chewing through low caloric foods like baby carrots. That is my trick, but also based on very good research about satiety and hunger. And then the last but not least, folks, get your light exposure. Get outside in the morning, get outside as much as possible. The reason is your brain, specifically serotonin levels, that is also important and affects things like libido, things like appetite, things like sleep. So your serotonin levels, for example, are directly affected by your light exposure. Your light exposure at specific times in the morning, in the afternoon, that regulates your serotonin levels. And serotonin levels, the lack of serotonin is correlated with more cravings. People start craving more stuff, specifically more sweet stuff, more carb stuff. If you during winter, for example, notice that you start craving a lot more carbs and sweets, well, part of the reason why that happens is serotonin levels drop because of less of light exposure. But you can, purchase lamps that simulate light outside, those daylight kind of lamps, and you can get outside more often, especially in the first couple of hours of sunrise, and that will help you to regulate your serotonin, to boost that serotonin, and that will actually help you to remove a lot of those unnecessary cravings. And by the way, folks, when you crave sweet stuff, eat fruit, stop eating processed stuff. Just again, back to substitution and adding more, replacing stuff that is suboptimal like sweets with better stuff like fruit, that have also water, that have carbs, fiber, and vitamins and minerals, and that turn off your hunger in such a better way. But back to light. Light is important for your satiety levels, is important for your hunger, for your cravings, for your sleep quality, and a lot of other things that, like your mood, for example, that can and will affect your weight loss, your decision making. So this is my 5-pillar formula for weight loss. Besides, eating those 800 grams of fruit and vegetables, besides eating enough protein for your body weight, I have this 5-pillar happy brain weight loss formula that will help you, to the best of our knowledge, to almost switch off that hunger and feel satiated, feel happy while losing weight. Of course, again, if you eat very little, you will still experience hunger, and weight loss is still going to be, challenging, but you can make a lot less suffering happen, and you can make your brain help you, not fight you. And that's the difference between maintaining your weight for life and creating at the same time more health, and losing weight and gaining weight, and losing and gaining, losing your health and mood and mind and sleep sometimes because of your weight loss efforts. So folks, I hope you found this helpful, and you're going to use it, and going to be smart about weight loss, and you're going to help your brain instead of fighting it. Because again, back to the idea, you fight your biology, you lose every time, no exception. First and foremost, your brain cares about survival, not about your body weight. And you want to play with your brain again, not against it, by making sure that you get as much stuff necessary for your survival as possible. And that's the whole idea. Give your brain what it needs, what makes your brain happy, and it will fight your weight loss efforts much, much, much less. That being said, folks, if you have any question about weight loss, always feel free to reach out, Angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. We can also schedule a session, and I'm going to help you to go through the most effective strategies, additional supplementation, additional tricks and hacks that I've accumulated over a decade of my career in weight loss and body weight adjustment, body fat adjustment, I'd rather say. And folks, in the show notes today, you're going to find a link to Burnout Proof Tech Founder Challenge, absolutely free, 5-day, exceptional. There can be so much value. And the whole purpose of the 5-day challenge is to build your own burnout proof system. So no matter how much workload or life load you get, you can still handle it, feeling happy, pursuing your goals, building your life, not losing your mind, health, and sleep. So that is the idea. The best cutting edge knowledge, neuroscience, expert tricks, Olympic athletes, methods, neuroscience based research, and a lot more. So the link is in the show notes. Find it, use it, join the challenge that is starting on Monday, June 12th, upcoming Monday. Bring a lot of friends, and folks, share it, please. This will make such a huge difference in my life and in life of a lot of other people who you will help by bringing them to the challenge and helping them to build their own burnout proof system, so they create businesses and quality of life they desire without destroying their own health, family life, personal life, and sleep and well-being, right? So check the link out, bring friends, sign up. And if you have weight loss questions, reach out. Talk to you soon, folks. Have an amazing Wednesday, and stay tuned and join the challenge.